Hi and welcome to the Trash Talking podcast. I'm your host Stu, or you may know me as SMTV. Today I'm joined by the frontman of an awesome band who are gracing the lineup for...
You cannot have just frozen now.
Oh, as if. You frozen as well.
You
Go.
froze.
We're back.
Literally at that moment. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It must have been because I said you're an awesome band. It's like fact checking me or something. No.
It was just at that moment in time. It was just when you said, this is going to be a really good interview. And then there you go.
Yeah.
Gone.
Right
Gone.
We
tried. We
Right.
tried.
Anyway, so yeah, they were introduced to me over on TikTok, recommended in the comment section. Upon listening, I was blown away. You couldn't be more to my taste if they tried. It's Benji of Waterlines. Welcome to the show.
It is. Thank you very much for having me on, man. I'm excited. I love the you're very complimentary. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I spend a lot of my life downtrodden, so it's nice. It's nice for someone to really understand my artistry.
Yeah.
We'll go for that.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate you coming on as well. I really do.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So I've just given you a soft launch. So go ahead, introduce yourself and the band.
Yeah. So my name's Benji, and I am the vocalist for Waterlines. Within Waterlines, we have myself, we have Tom, who is guitarist A1, and then we have Mike, who is guitarist 1A, and then we have Sai, who is our drummer, technological genius, band dad, writes a lot of the songs, programs a lot of the... It's just... I feel like every band's got one, right? Every band's got the one guy who just holds it all together.
Gotcha.
And I'll give you a clue. It ain't me. It ain't me.
No.
I'm like a glorified hype man. I like to think of myself as Waterlines' Bez.
Bez, yeah. I was just about to say.
Me.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. But yeah, so we're Waterlines. That's the four of us, and we're in it for the lols, mate.
Yeah,
we're in it for the lols.
That's
we don't
a good
like
thing,
to take
man.
ourselves.
I like it.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. Look, like being in a band is fun. It's great fun, and it's rewarding and it's exciting and all those things. But mate, it does take it out of you sometimes. You've got to put a lot of work into it, especially you full-time jobs. We most of us have got kids, so it takes up a lot of time. So you've got to have 4, 5, however many members you've got, and if you can get along and just you enjoy it and you just do it for the fun, because you ain't going to make no money in metal. I can tell you that for free. So you've got to be doing it for the love. I think that's what we've got, and we all just bounce off each other and just have a great time. So we are Waterlines, and we're in it for the lols.
No, that's awesome, and it comes across in the music as well. I think when like a bunch of guys or a bunch of girls, whatever, get together and just do it for the fun as friends, it comes across in the music, and I can definitely hear it.
100%. I think it comes across in the music, but like even more so on stage. Like you can tell when you're watching a band, like as a punter myself, like going to a gig, you can tell so much if a band wants to be there, and if they're enjoying putting that performance on for you, if they're comfortable on stage, if they're comfortable around each other, if they're comfortable with the audience, like you can tell that like almost instantly, and by the end of the set, that'll be the difference between you saying, holy shit, this band was sick. Like they were really good. They were engaging. They were exciting. All those sorts of things. That's only going to come across if you're giving a performance that kind of speaks a bit of truth, right? That kind of says, this is where I want to be. That's so important to us. Massively important to us for it to always feel, natural, always feel fun. If it ain't fun, why'd you do it?
Yeah, what's the point? So, if you're not having fun, they're not going to have fun, are they? So
exactly that. Exactly that. And like I say, you're not making any money. You're not, it's not a career. Look, mate, I'm never going to get flown off to Dubai in my penthouse suite through the band. So do you know what I mean? I just do it because literally the buzz that I get from this. I get from being on stage. I get from meeting fans. I get from meeting people like you. I get from being in these interviews. It's just, for me personally, you can't get that anywhere else, and that's what it's all about. 100%.
That's awesome, and I do really appreciate that. It's, if you can find a hobby that you love, it's just second nature, isn't it? And I can speak about what I'm doing right here. This is a hobby, and getting to speak to you and speak to other bands, it's incredible.
That's it. That's it. Have you got your interview lined up with Trivium?
I cancelled it for this.
Oh, yeah, I get it, mate. I get it. I'll get on the phone to Matt Heafy and just give him a bit of a. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
Is he not turning? Is he not returning your calls, mate? Is he red buttoning you?
Should we move on? Right. So I know metalcore is thrown around as a genre a lot these days. Would you class yourselves as metalcore?
I think you've got to. Yeah. It is a tough one, isn't it? Because there's half of me that says I understand the need to put a genre of music in a box.
Yeah.
I get it, because if I'm on Spotify and I'm looking for a playlist, I'm looking for metalcore.
Yeah.
I'm looking for grime, drum and bass, dub, whatever it is. And so I understand the need to put similar styles of music in a box. I get that, but at the same time, it does. I don't just want to be another metalcore band.
No.
I don't. I'm sure that's the same for everyone in every genre. No one wants to do what everyone else is doing and sound like everyone else. I like to think that we don't sound like everyone else. So it is nice to have our own little niche. But I tell you what, metal's the worst for it, innit? Like these subgenres within subgenres within subgenres. It just gets exhausting, doesn't it, mate?
I must say, like, coming through your music though, like, definitely have like some drum and bass, dubstep. That seems to be coming through. I can hear that coming through, 100%. And it's refreshing to have a band where it's something different, and that's what I get with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so easy for us because we've got this we've got these four lads from very different backgrounds with a huge range of eclectic musical taste. Like, so me and Sai, we were in the car on our way down to Reading this weekend. So that's 4 hours for us. Yeah. I'm not convinced we played one metal track on the way down. No. We were just bouncing to drum and bass all the way down, and we love that. And it's all. Do you know what? Music, as much as it's about the art and the actual the track, the audio, it's as much about culture, isn't it? It's as much about vibing with the culture of the genre, of the live scene, of the scene as a whole. And I think that's like what we try and implement, as much as it being about the sonic reference to a genre. It's as much about the vibe behind it. And when we write a track, we're sort of thinking to ourselves, well, I want this to hit like drum and bass, but I want it to flow like dubstep, but I kind of want the lyrics to have a grime element to it, but then I really want that melodic metalcore chorus. But then how cool would it be to put a deathcore breakdown? Do you know what I mean? Like these different parts, and it's not so much about the music as it is about the vibe, as it is about getting that character across in the tune. And that's kind of that's where we sit with it. That if you put yourself in a box, that's where you're going to stay. So we like to make sure that we're always thinking outside that.
And try and break out of that box.
You've got to, haven't you? You've got to, otherwise you're just going to fall in with the crowd, and you will be forgettable. And I think Waterlines for the most part are not forgettable as it stands.
Exactly.
So I think we're doing a reasonable job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you start producing music as a band since 2022? Is that right?
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. So I was in another band prior to that, and then prior to Waterlines, they were another less good band, you know.
Yeah.
That's well unfair of me. But look, they were a different iteration. And I think that when I joined the band, and we kind of got in a room together and we'd spent a little bit of time with each other, it was a really easy decision for us to just have the conversation that said, look, you know, it's not what it was.
Yeah.
It is a very different thing. And I think people can get quite precious about it. I think that people can, especially, you know, fans of a band, when they do get primarily it's a vocalist, isn't it? If you change your vocalist, you change your front man, you
that
change
makes a
the
difference.
100%. And I think that people can get a little bit upset sometimes where they're just like, oh, this isn't what I signed up for. You know what I mean? So I think it was quite easy for us to say, we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. Let's do something.
Change
let's
it
do
up
something
completely,
different.
start from scratch.
100%. 100%.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, on about, it's relative. You're still early in your career, 100%. I mean, you've just recently released newest album, This Side of New Year's. We Don't Give a Fuck. And what an album it is. It's incredible, I must say. It's really good. And how's that been for you guys? Like that release of your debut album?
It's been fun. It's been really good. So we're not calling it an album. You're not allowed to say that. No, I'll get my manager on you for saying that.
Retract that.
Retract that statement. It's a collection of singles. All right.
Right. Okay.
Well, basically, what it was is I think that you can hear in WDGAF Volume 1, which, to be honest, I should have thought about that. It's not very easy to say. I wish I'd have considered that. But I think you can hear within the EP, the whatever. It's a band finding our feet, finding our sound a little bit.
Like a showcase, your first showcase.
Exactly that. Experimenting. It's a little bit niche. It's a little bit out there. And I think probably the only sort of negative of that is it's maybe not as cohesive as you might like an album or an EP to be. It can sort of bounce around a little bit. That you sort of, you know, when you drop into Prey as an example, and then you go from that into Anti-Human or Halo or something like that, that's a lot more sort of classic metalcore. It can almost feel a little bit jarring. It can almost be a little bit like, wow, what this is mad. And I love all of the songs as much as the next one, but it is a bounce around the collective musical brain of Waterlines. So I think for us, it was more about ease of consumption. It was more about, we wanted people to be able to go to one place and get as much Waterlines as they could out of one package. I think when you're talking about things like algorithms on Spotify and stuff like that, you know, it makes so much more sense for it to be a single package. So we knew we weren't breaking any musical ground with the release, because it is a collection of previously released singles. It was more about just getting it all together and kind of saying to a reasonably fresh fan base, this is what we're building from. You know, this is your introduction to Waterlines. This is who we were, and then moving forward now, that gives us that opportunity for a clean slate and to say, this is what we're gonna be. This is what we are.
Gotcha. And no, that's perfect. Because if you guys were to have come out and, you know, created an album, you call it a select collection of singles. If you were to create an album and there was flow from one song to the next, and you may have a slower movement in the album, and that happens to be the song that someone clicks on, they think, Waterlines aren't the band for me. But because you've released these as a collection of singles, and every single song is absolutely like kick-ass, it's a winner, isn't it? So I can see exactly why it's been done.
I think it is, and I think it just kind of, it's exactly what you just said. You would never want someone to land on the song that they didn't quite connect with, and then not be given the opportunity to go, all right, let's skip to the next track. And actually, I think that each of the tracks on the collection of singles are different enough that even if you didn't vibe with the first two tracks that you listen to, or the first three tracks that you listen to, you'd be saying to yourself, but they're all mad. Like they're all like, this isn't like this one, isn't like this one, which potentially just gives you more and more opportunity to just say, well, let's see what the next one's like, because the last three have been somewhat crazy. So I really like that about our sound. I don't think we'll lose that entirely. I want us to be the band that just kind of do what we want. But I what I would like is for things like lyrical content, production quality, all of that sort of stuff to feel cohesive, to feel as one, and just so that the journey through the album, as bouncy as it might be and as frenetic as it might be, it still feels I'm still in the same place, you know. I'm still listening to the same people, and that's what I would want to get across in our first album. Would be that cohesiveness.
Gotcha. No, that's perfect. I mean, talking about jumping onto one track and hopefully landing on the one track that you're going to fall in love with. For me, the first track I listened to was Brace, and seriously, I love that tune, man. I was driving to work and it was, hey Siri, play Waterlines. Because obviously I'd never really listened to you guys before, and I thought, just put Siri on, get them to play Waterlines, and they played that song, and it just punched me right in the face. Siri's talking to me now. In fact, he's just started playing Waterlines, set the pace has just come on. I do apologise. I should have thought about that before I said that.
Do you know what? As far as soundtracks to interviews go, it's all right.
It's a winner.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be worse, and Siri could have played something really embarrassing off like your dirty pleasures.
My hidden albums.
That's it. It starts playing the Greatest Showman soundtrack.
There's nothing wrong with Greatest Showman, mate. Let's not.
Do you know what? I agree. I agree.
So yeah,
I think
that tune being dropped on me couldn't have been a better song, and from there I just knew I love this band. I'm gonna enjoy whatever else is thrown at me, and it was right.
Yeah,
listen to the rest of the stuff, and it's brilliant. It's right in my,
excellent
genre of choice. So it's perfect.
Yeah, excellent. I love that, and I think that it's so important that you get dragged in to a band through one track. But how disappointing is it when you get dragged in with that one track and then you start to listen through and you think, do you know what?
This is nothing like what I've just listened to.
It was just that one.
Yeah.
It was just that one. It happens to me all the time, and I'm like, no, I thought I'd found a new thing to super fan over. So it is, we wanted to make sure, and we still are making sure, that as much as we do want to experiment and we want to do different shit, that we're staying kind of true to the root of what we're trying to get across, which I guess is it's about intensity. Is what it is, and that's not always aggression, and it's not always bouncy, enjoyable fun, and it's not always sadness, depression, whatever. It's about intensity. So whatever branch we choose to take, as long as it fits that vibe, it doesn't matter where we go content wise. And I think it makes me feel really good when someone says, I got drawn in with this one track, but then actually I listened to the rest of the stuff and I was like, yes, this is the band for me. That's wicked, man. I love that.
No, it is perfect, honestly. And you talk about intensity, that's like your word that you want to use, if you will. And in writing the music in studio, listen to it on track, that's awesome. But then that must bring another level of excitement, because intensity played live is only going to breed more intensity, and it's just going to explode, if you know what I mean. Personally, I can't wait to see you guys at Bloodstock, and hopefully many times later on as well. How have your live shows been as Waterlines?
We are a live band.
Yeah,
that's what we've always wanted to be. I think that it's quite common now with music production being as good as it is, for a band to sound huge on record and then you can go and see them. And again, this is just personal experience, but like you can then go and see that band in person and think, you know what, actually, I'll stick to Spotify.
Yeah.
We've always wanted to be. It sounds weird to say the opposite, but it kind of is. It's more important for me to be a good live band than it is to be a well-produced band or a well-polished band or whatever. I would rather that rawness kind of come across to a degree.
Be true in both aspects, on record and live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I suppose if people are seeing you live for the first time, obviously being in a festival setting, for example, if they go and see you at a festival, they know what they're going to get when they come and listen to your album.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of the times, especially when you're a band of our sort of size, where you are still pretty fledgling, you're still in the early part of your career, you're making a lot of your fans from these live settings. You're making a lot of your fans from playing in places where other people may not have caught you elsewhere. We still get people coming to our gigs today. Says, "Oh, we saw you at Bloodstock in 2023, and that's why I'm now a fan. That's why I want to come to your shows." And you know, if you can create a following, if you can create a fan base based off a 40-minute set 2 years ago, you're on to something, aren't you? You've done something right. And I really like that. That gives me a little boost every time when someone comes to a show and says, "Oh, you know, this is where I caught you." And that Bloodstock show in 23 was insane.
Yeah.
It was mental. It was absolutely mental.
What stage did you play?
We played Jaeger.
Oh, did you?
So we played Jaeger, which for anybody who hasn't been to Bloodstock is tiny. Like
the smallest stage.
It's the smallest stage. So it's smaller than the New Blood stage that the fresh bands are coming through. Tiny little stage, probably set up for reasonably. I don't want to say tranquil because it is metal at the end of the day, but it's probably it's more for, I don't know the polite way to say it, but it's not for the mayhem. You know? It's not for the mayhem. There's no security. The stage isn't particularly raised. You're maybe a foot or two off the floor. The crash barrier is only about 3 foot wide. Like it's not designed for that. So when we came in and we launched into our first song, and we started to see crowd surfers.
Really? Wow.
Come over. We didn't have any security, so we couldn't catch them. So I was off the stage with my mic in one hand, carrying crowd surfers over my other hand. So we had to say to the sound engineers, "Look, just get the sound as good as you can, and then come to the front
because
can
be security.
Are going to hurt themselves here." So the stage manager and our sound engineer were our bouncers for the night, and they just caught crowd surfer after crowd surfer.
Wow.
And I believe that they had to get the maintenance guys out the next day to realign the king pole of the tent because we bent it. And I really want like a works report. I want an incident report for that, but apparently there wasn't one. I wanted to frame
something to frame,
yeah, but there you go.
That's an awesome story though, and the fact that your first Bloodstock appearance comes with a story as well, instead of just we played, it was all right, a few people turned up. That's
100%
more than you could ask for, isn't it?
I think you've got to, it kind of comes from a place of, I think that a lot of bands in our arena, they want to be professionals. You know, they want to, you're being paid, or you're being trusted with a slot. And people expect you to perform, so you want to be a professional, right? So that's great, and we want to be professionals as well. But there's something about that that kind of childlike wonder of getting to live your dream, right? Of getting to do these things that other people just don't get to see, and letting that come out. In a live setting a little bit, where you're honest with the crowd and saying, dude, I'm loving this as
Yeah.
much as you guys, if not more. Like I'm amazed to be here. Like I'm really benefiting from this.
Mhm.
Like this isn't just me getting up here to do my job in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is me living my fucking fantasy. And if I can get that across on stage, I think that's what then creates
It's infectious.
a crazy set.
Yeah.
It is.
Mhm.
It's infectious. 100%. That's the word.
Yeah.
And I think that you know we get on stage at Bloodstock. So we actually had the conversation before we got on stage that day, and we were like, should we play Pretty Green Eyes? Because you know it's a metal festival, and Bloodstock in the past has been a quite a traditional metal festival. It's been very centered around kind of the black metal and the thrash and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, they've diversified hugely
massively
in
now,
the last few years. But that was kind of its roots. So we thought, you know, are we playing Pretty Green Eyes to the wrong crowd? It went off.
Yeah.
It went
perfect.
off. That song was insane, and I think that kind of it happens at most of our shows where we'll play a song like that in that sort of ilk, and the crowd will say, I don't have to take myself too seriously for this set. I can have fun,
Just have fun,
because that's what the band are doing, and I think that it really comes across.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. You just mentioned Pretty Green Eyes. Have you seen that video of the guy in Benidorm where it's like his dream song? It's like his favourite.
Chicken fried rice. Mate, I love
That's
it.
perfect, that is.
It's the same fried chicken and fries. I love it.
I'm so glad you
Love
get
it.
the reference, because if I was going to have to
Mate,
explain that to you, it wouldn't have been as funny. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Have you sang Chicken Fried Rice yet? If not, will you sing it at Bloodstock, please?
But do you know what? Interestingly, and I'm not sure I've had the opportunity to tell this story yet, so I'm glad that you've opened me up there.
Oh, nice segue.
So we played a show down in Southampton with a band called Vexed. You know Vexed? Yeah. So we played with Vexed down in Southampton, and it was Bind, and then it was Pulse, and then it was us, and then it was Vexed. So we were kind of sandwiched into this kind of hardcore, metalcore, deathcore, really heavy shit. And we were sandwiched into the middle of just these four lads who just love to behave like bellends. And we got on stage, and we were about to play Pretty Green Eyes, and again we kind of had the same thing. I was like, is this the wrong crowd? So we started. We went into Pretty Green Eyes, and we were getting this crowd involved, and I had a mad moment where I just went, what was it now? We are at a deathcore gig. Waterlines don't give a f***. And that is why the EP is called Waterlines Don't Give a F***.
Oh, wow.
Because I sang it at a Vex gig to Pretty Green Eyes. So there you go. Exclusive. An SMTV exclusive.
You heard it here first. The towel behind the track. Perfect. No, that's great. And if you can come to sing Chicken Fried Rice, I'm happy to jump up to the mic and blast that one for you.
You say that now, but if we get to the Sophie stage and you don't get on stage,
I'll
and
do
grab
it.
that mic,
I'm right there.
Yeah, again, you heard it here first. Yeah. So you've only got yourself to blame if if you regret this for the rest of your life and you don't get up and sing it. It's on you.
There's no bottling going on here, so
there's no bottling.
I'm expecting
you at the crash barrier at the front. The mic grab is yours.
I'll be there, mate. Don't you worry. Yeah, so you just mentioned you're playing the Sophie. It's got to feel good to be working your way up the lineup.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and you kind of do see it happen from time to time, but maybe not that often.
Yeah.
That you kind of see a band grow through those stages.
Yeah.
So like the two that I can think of, are Tortured Demon. So they're local lads. To me, actually, they're Manchester based. And when they play, I think did they play New Blood first or Jaeger? No, they played Jaeger. Yeah, they played Jaeger first. And they everything that I've heard about that set is crazy. Yeah. Like they played an insane set, and everyone was buzzing off it. So then they got brought up to the Sophie stage in the year that we played, and then the other one would be Seethin' Akira, who got to open main stage. you know, after again, you know, climbing through those ranks.
Yeah.
And it's just like there aren't actually, well, if any other festivals that offer that platform,
That growth
really,
within
you
the
know.
festival year after year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's career progression, like within a festival, and that's you just don't. I've never seen it anywhere else. So I think for us, there was a part of it where we felt very lucky. We felt, you know, really. Really grateful to Simon and the festival and so on, for allowing us that. But then also at the same time, there is when we got offered the slot on Sophie, it was a really nice feeling to be able to say, do you know what, we can earn that. Yeah. We earned that by you know, putting on the show that we did, and then promoting it the way that we did after, and then using it to springboard into what we are now. And you know, that's really nice to be able to say we earned that good and proper.
Yeah.
You know, we put the graft in, we put the show on that we were expected to put on, maybe even more so, and that's what put us in the position that we're in today. And I'm not convinced that many bands can say that. So that's a really nice, it's a really nice string to the bow.
Yeah, we obviously like testament to yourselves. You've earned it, and I'm sure that will come across in the live show as well. Like you're appreciative of the festival. You're going to give them absolute show of the weekend. So
absolutely,
I look forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so going back to the band, just a general question. As a band, who would you say your inspirations are musically?
I think again, that's really tough, because going back to what we were saying before, there's this massive eclectic melting pot of sounds that come into it. But I think that we're all big fans of the heavier end of kind of Alpha Wolf. We all love 1056. We all love Silent Planet. You know, that sort of kind of modern metalcore sound. We're all big fans of that. There's a lot of drum and bass in there. There's a lot of dubstep and grime and bass heavy subgenres in there. But then we kind of try and incorporate a little bit of the silliness of Electric Callboy and that sort of thing as well. My issue is I used to love being compared to Electric Callboy. Now I kind of feel like Electric Callboy, or if a metal band wanted to go on Eurovision. It's not. It's maybe taken a bit of a step out of my of my ballpark, but the cultural side of Electric Callboy, you know, the vibe
the
side,
fun and games,
energy side, all day, all day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you there as well with Electric Callboy. Like we got the moves and like that kind of era. The newest stuff, it just doesn't scratch an itch for me, unfortunately.
It doesn't do it for me. I think the last one for me was Hyper.
Yeah,
I love that. That is a tune.
Massive
that
tune.
Is an absolute tune. But I love the old stuff. I love Eskimo Callboy. Like that era for me was a vibe. Was a vibe
for sure. Okay, going off inspirations, who do you think would be your dream band to open for?
Oh, nice. I really want to play with Throne.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I really want to play with Throne. Dream band to open for. I'm a new metal kid.
Yeah.
So I'd love to open up for like Limp Bizkit or someone like that who, again, you know, a metal band who maybe don't take themselves too seriously, maybe got that element of we don't give a fuck about them. And so maybe someone like Limp Bizkit.
I can see that working, definitely.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I'm saying Limp Bizkit followed by Electric Callboy, Waterlines opening up the night. I'm paying for that. I'm paying for that all day.
Yeah, 100%. I can guarantee a lot of listeners will want to see that as well.
I'm in.
For sure. So, have you had a chance to take a look at the questions I sent over?
I have.
You are? Yeah.
I have. Let me just get my notes up.
Okie dokie. Yep. So,
all right, go on it.
Each guest I have on, I ask a list of questions, the Trash Talking questions, and you've been very good. You've done your research, and I'm going to ask you them right now. So, what was your first ever album?
So I'm fairly sure, I can't say with any certainty, but I'm fairly sure that it was Fallen by Evanescence.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of my introduction to metal, really.
Yeah.
You know, it was that sort of era where Linkin Park were massive, Limp Bizkit was massive, all of the your Slipknots and your Korns and all that kind of stuff. But I think the kind of pop sensibilities of Evanescence made them quite easy listening at the time. So for me, being a young kid, I was maybe 10, 11 at the time. That was what kind of drew me in. It was also what made me want to learn how to scream.
Oh, okay.
Because there's that little bit at the end, that little feature from that guy, and I wanted to be able to sing the track all the way through, right? So I wanted to learn to scream from there. So I was trying to scream at like 11 terribly, or awfully, but that's what I was trying to do. But
doing the Amy Lee bits as well.
Absolutely.
You have to,
absolutely.
Don't you?
Yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. I put Amy Lee to shame, man.
I'll bet.
Like, you want to hear me in that shower, mate? Unbelievable. But then what I did want to say was that after that, after opening my eyes to metal and the heavier side of music, I then went to my cousin to say, look, she was a little bit older than me. She was kind of the cousin that I looked up to and I wanted to be like. And I was like, look, give me some clues. Where am I going next? And she gave me a tape of Mutter, Rammstein.
Oh, okay.
So I had that in on the car on the way home, and that was when I really fell into the dark side. Was that kind of stuff. Still love that album today.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It has a lot to explains a lot, doesn't it? Someone's first album and where they've landed now. 100%.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, for myself, it was Hybrid Theory, and I'm still very much of a Linkin Park fan now as I was back then.
Yeah, and I have this conversation all the time. So it's self-titled or Iowa. And a lot of people are going to say self-titled, and I'm an Iowa kid. And then Hybrid Theory or Meteora.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Most people are going to say Hybrid Theory, and I'm a Meteora kid. But don't get me wrong, I love both of those albums. But I really like the melody that they found in Meteora. Yeah. Like I just I love Breaking the Habit. I love I love Numb. I know it's the most overplayed song in the world, but I love it. It's great. Yeah. So. But hey, if you can say that both of your first two albums were great, then you're onto something.
You're onto a winner, of course. Right. So your next question is, what was your first gig or show?
See, now this is actually, weirdly enough, is topical.
Okay.
Because I went to the OG Poison tour of Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was what, 2004, maybe 2004, 2005. And I went to watch Bullet for My Valentine, and they had As I Lay Dying on the tour with them. Again, topical. And I'm pretty sure it was Gallows.
Oh, okay.
Which felt like a weird band to have on the lineup, but there you go. That was my first one. It was me and my mate and his dad.
Yeah.
And his dad just stood over by the bar all night.
How old would you have been then?
11, 12, something like that. So obviously we could only get into the academy with a parent with us. So yeah, luckily my mate's dad was pretty cool. He was like a biker and that, and he we were all right with that. Like my mum would have stuck out like a sore thumb. It would have been dreadful. But yeah, luckily his dad was quite cool, so we were all right.
Good. And your next question is, what was the best gig or show that you've ever seen?
All right, so again, I've got two because I just like I like chatting on with myself.
That's good.
So the best gig that I've ever seen was While She Sleeps at the Key Club in Leeds.
Oh, nice.
Because Key Club is like 300 cap.
Yeah.
It's tiny. And then it was While She Sleeps on the Sleep Society tour. And it was just, they came on stage. They'd had Loathe playing before him.
Yeah. Is that with Landmarks as well? Landmarks?
I don't think so. No, it was Loathe and someone else. It was only No, because it was tiny.
Oh, okay.
It was a really small tour. They only did a couple of venues where there were these tiny little intimate venues. And it was Loathe and someone else that I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was your band. So Loathe were brilliant. And then While She Sleeps came on, and it packed out in this 300 cap venue. And I just remember like the first couple of chords of Sleep Society, you know, the synth was going wow, and I was just, and everyone just goes and then like when it first kicked in and the guitars kicked in and the whole crowd was just like bouncing up and down, it was like a wave through. Mate, it was insane. And my mate broke my rib that night.
It's good of him.
Which was very sore.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Very sore, but worth it.
Yeah, worth it.
And then I think probably one of the best gigs I've ever played was, I just mentioned my mum before. She's only ever seen me play live once.
Okay.
And it was at this show. And my mum grew up on Wham.
Right.
You know, my mum is not into any heavy music at all, like in the slightest. Like she thinks Katy Perry is the heaviest thing she's ever heard. So she came to watch this show, and then, you know, after the set, she was buzzing, like she was gassed, and she just came up and she was just like, look, obviously, you know, the music's not for me, but the vibe that we bring to our live show and the way that the crowd interact and all of those sorts of things. She was just made up. And I thought at the end of that gig, I thought, if I can make a fan out of my mum, then do you know what? I like my chances.
Yeah, that's it. Or you can start a Wham tribute act, one or the other.
Or I can start a Wham tribute act. Yeah, absolutely. Which I'm absolutely up for. You know,
that's got to be your next cover. We need some George Michael.
Yeah, I really relate to George Michael. I feel like we're very similar people, you know? Yeah.
All right, so final questions for the Trash Talking questions. Have you got Desert Island discs lined up?
Oh, have I? Yeah. Now, was it a mix? Was it 5 altogether, or was it 5 of each?
As much as you've got to give.
I've got 5 of each.
Let's go 5 of each.
I've got 5 of each.
Let's go 5 of each.
Okay.
Should we start with movies?
Movies. Yeah. Let's go. So number 1.
First thing, how old are you?
I am 32. 32.
So we're going to be the same kind of childhood. That's fine.
I was born in 92.
Okay, 95 myself. So I think we're going to have some crossover. So go for it.
I hope so. Right. So if I could only watch one movie for the rest of my life, it'd be the 1999 cinematic masterpiece, The Mummy, featuring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Incredible.
That is my favorite movie of all time. I just fucking love it. Yeah. Like it's got horror, it's got comedy, it's got action, it's got everything. Yeah. It's got everything.
I don't think you could have said a better film, honestly.
It's peak. Yeah. It's peak movie magic.
Definitely.
Peak movie magic. All right, so my next one, The Exorcist.
Oh, okay.
The Exorcist. Now, when I first watched The Exorcist, I would have been about 14, something like that, and it was, you know, that was when people, it's supposed to be the scariest film of all time and all that sort of stuff. And I stuck it on, and at 14, you don't really get it. Like for me, I was just like, this is crap. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not scared at all. And then I went back and I watched it when I was maybe, you know, late 20s. And I was like, holy shit, this takes on like a whole nother image when you understand it. I think for me, I had a kid, so I understood the mother-daughter relationship. And I think that when you watch it a little bit older with a little bit more understanding and a little bit more patience, it takes on a whole other level of scary. Yeah, and I really like that film.
I'll have to
Now I
check it
think
out because it's not. Again, I watched it when I was probably too young and didn't
yeah,
appreciate it for what it was. So I'll have to put it on my watch
absolutely.
list.
You've got to, mate. You need to go back and do it. Like I say, when you're a little bit older and you've got more time to give it a chance, it's oh mate, cinematic masterpiece, brilliant.
Awesome.
All right, so my next one, Saving Private Ryan, man.
What a banger.
Saving Private Ryan. I am a sucker for a World War II movie. I'm really interested in the time period as a whole. I'm interested in the conflict as a whole. So I'm a sucker for a World War II movie. And you know, Saving Private Ryan is just, again, you know, cinematic masterpiece. That is the magic of cinema right there. My only regret, I never got to watch it in the cinema. So hopefully they'll do one of the they do some of the reruns sometimes. Don't
that'd be good.
So hopefully they'll do one of them, because that'd be
it
wicked.
Would be ace, yeah.
That'd be wicked. So my next one was I was trying to think of peak zombie.
Right.
And I think for me, I think it's World War Z.
Good film, yeah.
I think it's World War Z for me, because I like the I like your Dawn of the Dead and your 28 Days Later and all that sort of stuff. I really love that. And a couple of the have you ever seen Train to Busan?
No, I haven't
the Korean
seen that one. No.
So that's wicked as well. They're really good. But there's something about the scale of World War Z. You know, when you see them all climbing up the walls and stuff, like that sort of thing is just I think it's just like visually, it just looks insane, and it's just really, really good. Love World War Z. So if you like zombies and you haven't seen it, go do it.
Well, it's great because obviously other zombie films, it's all quite encapsulated in a small area. Whereas World War Z, it's like it's global, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think for the zombie movies where it's quite claustrophobic, and like you say, it's in small areas and stuff, that kind of adds to the horror element of zombies. Whereas World War Z, I wouldn't really say it's a horror movie. It's not particularly frightening. It's just that kind of large scale action. It's if Michael Bay made zombie movies.
That's it.
That sort. It's about scale, and it's about gravitas, and it's about just being big, and it does that really, really well.
Yeah,
I think
that is a great film.
Okay, so final one. I'm a horror nerd, and I love all things horror, and I love horror movies. So I was trying to think of the one that I could just watch over and over again, and it's a bit of a strange one, to be honest, but it's the new Evil Dead. It's Evil Dead Rise.
Okay, I haven't watched it.
Right,
I'll be honest,
mate. No. So it has got the kind of eerie, kind of spooky element to it, so it is a little bit scary. But it's just like, it's that classic sort of 80s level of just an absolute gore fest. There's blood everywhere. It's ridiculous. And it's not disgusting. Do you know what I mean? It's not out to do that. It is out.
It's not gore for the sake of gore.
Exactly. It is actually, it knows what it is. It knows it's a little bit silly, and it knows it's a little bit over the top. And I think it just really kind of, it just says, do you know what? It's the waterlines of horror movies. It just says, This is what we are. We're not compromising on it. Take it or leave it. And I fucking love that, man. I love it. Yeah. So Evil Dead Rise.
See, I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to horror movies. I either throw myself in and enjoy it, and if I watch a horror movie, 100% of the time I enjoy it. But there's certain films that I still can't bring myself to watch.
Go on.
Evil Dead Rises, I couldn't watch it because the poster freaked me out. And then, do you know the poster where it's like her and the two boys? Yeah. Just seeing that, I was like, nah, I don't really want to watch that. And then the amount of times me and my wife have sat down and we says, right, we're going to watch Hereditary tonight. And every single time we've gone, yeah, we're not going to watch that tonight.
Mate, right, Hereditary is a masterpiece. I love that film, but it is one of the few films that really got under my skin.
See, this is why I don't want to watch it, because everyone says exactly the same.
Yeah, it really does. Like, there are loads of horror movies. Like, have you ever seen any of the Conjurings?
Yes, yeah.
So the Conjurings, like they're scary, and they they jump out at you, and they you got all your ghoulies and ghosties and that kind of stuff. But I think for me, that style of movie, once the movie's over, I've forgotten about it then, and I'm not, it's
fleeting.
fine. It was just a bit jumpy, a bit fleeting. But yeah, Hereditary, it really got under my skin. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that film for weeks, mate, and I still do now. Like certain parts of it are just, they're just awful.
Some films you just can't shake, can you? I mean, for me as a kid, it was, of all films, it's Signs with Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
that film
and it's
terrified
the bit where
me
the
as a
alien
child.
walks past the fucking door.
Yeah, at the party. Yeah.
Oh.
And I watched that as a child in the caravan park with my cousins.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm 30 in May. I still haven't been able to watch that film.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
It's marked me for life.
I get it. Do you know the one that did it for me was The Others?
What's that? Oh, okay.
The Others with who is it? Is it Nicole Kidman? Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. But there's a bit in that where the little girl is sat on the floor playing with this kind of puppet thing, and she's got her back to the camera with this long white dress and this kind of veil on, and then she turns around and she's like this old woman ghoul thing.
Yes,
and oh my god, mate! Like it's the same for me. I'd probably watch it again now and be like, it's really,
nothing.
It's really not that bad. But like at the time, oh mate, fuck me up.
Ruins you.
I remember in my dad's house, he used to have a film of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay.
Which to this day I've still never seen. And I don't know what it was about that film. I didn't even watch it. I think I just must have walked in on a scene or something, and I made my dad lock it in the garage.
Wow.
Yeah. But bearing in mind, like this wasn't yesterday, right? I was like, I was young, but it had to go in the garage, and I still haven't watched it. I bet it's rubbish.
To be a kid again.
I know. Hey. I know.
Right, hit me with your top 5 Desert Island albums,
please. So the first 2 we've actually already touched on. I'm an Iowa kid. I'm a Meteora kid.
Gotcha.
New metal, just
it was the golden era.
It really was. It really was. And to throw in on that as well, Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water.
Yeah. Is that album 3? Is it?
Yeah. That's album 3.
Got you. Yeah.
Chocolate Starfish, Hot Dog Flavored Water. Just something about, when Alfred comes in, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. I'm in.
Let's go. So they're my top 3, and it's very classic metalcore. A lot of those albums have got songs on there that you just they've just been everywhere. It's a lot of them are the overplayed stuff. But do you know what? It's good. That's why they're overplayed. It's good music.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and there's something. They're about as maybe kind of easy listening as metal gets.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Iowa. But it's just kind of they're just kind of they're well written. They're quite basic songs. There's nothing to there's nothing too nothing too crazy. There's nothing confusing about it. It's just it's just a collection of just really just decent tunes, and I love that. Okay, so 4 and 5. So number 4, Marshall Mathers LP.
Nice. Good choice.
Something about that is kind of Eminem's like descent into madness. You know what I mean? That was that for me was a turning point in my musical education, where it was, you actually don't have to write about stuff that people like. You can write about stuff that people hate. And you can write about stuff that makes people feel a bit sick. And that's also all right. That's also a form of art in and of itself. I think that was a bit of an awakening for me to listen to songs that kind of make you a little bit uncomfortable, but in the same way as kind of horror movies, that's why they're good. They're supposed to make you feel like that. They're supposed to, tap into these emotions that set you on edge, that get under your skin a little bit. So I think Marshall Mathers LP from a content perspective, I just think it's really clever, it's really deep, it's really cerebral, and that's up there. But
numero uno.
But one album of all time, and I will fight anybody about this being the greatest album ever written. 2001. Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
2001. Yeah. What an album that is. It's gold. It's banger after banger. And it's that for me was an education in beat, in rhythm, in flow, all of that kind of stuff. So whereas the Marshall Mathers LP was about content and lyricism and the way that a song makes you feel, 2001 for me was more about the musical vibe of a song, about the way that it flows, the way that it the way that it goes sort of up and down for its peaks and its troughs and its tension and release and all those sorts of things. That was where I learned a lot from that album. So yeah, there you go. 5 movies, 5 albums.
Yeah, I mean, past 2 albums you just mentioned, it makes complete sense now. Like the different way that you write your music with Waterlines, I can see where you get your inspiration from. And now that I know those 2 albums, I'm sure I'll go and listen to the album once more and I'll hear those inspirations and I'll think, there it is.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Brings a new level to the music, and I hope guys listening as well will do exactly that as well.
I think it does. I think that there's a beauty in music in that, where the kind of ambiguity of a track, right? The ambiguity of the way that someone writes their lyrics, in that you can turn a song into whatever you want it to be, right? It means what you want it to mean. That's the beauty of music. But having said that, I think that a Brace as an example, if you didn't know about Brace and you were listening to it, you could think it was it's heavy, it's aggressive, it's all those sorts of things, and you can turn it to whatever you want. But we wrote that song about a plane crash. That song is about what it would feel like to actually, you get your little pamphlet at the start of the flight, and they say, and this is the position you should adopt if you hear the pilot say the words brace, and I was like, oh my god, like what would that feel like? What would be going through your brain if you actually, you heard that and you were like, shit, this is happening, and so I think when you know that about a track, and you know where that kind of theory comes from, that does make a difference. It does change the way that you
brings a new layer to the experience.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
definitely. Perfect. Well, there were some brilliant movies and albums. I'm still buzzing from
I am brilliant, mate. I don't know what I mean. I'm just a brilliant dude.
Right. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. It truly has. Really nice, down-to-earth guy, and awesome band, Waterlines. Everyone needs to go and check them out.
Thank you, man.
Because they're going to be at Bloodstock. They're going to bring the party. I'm going to be there singing Chicken Fried Rice.
You better believe it.
You better believe it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, man.
So where can people find you? Obviously, Waterlines over on Spotify.
Yeah, so Waterlines on Spotify, Waterlines on Facebook. We are Waterlines on Instagram, TikTok, those sorts of things. We're not a Twitter an X band. We just
keep it simple.
I've got better things to do with my time, man. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, but you're Elon. He's not getting my time. No. He's not getting my time. And then there's the other one that Instagram just brought out. Threads.
You on Threads?
I don't even know what it is.
Nah,
What's
I'm not
the
on
thread?
Threads.
What's the come on.
I've only got so many words to bore people with, and
Exactly.
they lie in Instagram,
Exactly.
this podcast, and
Go
TikTok.
and read a book. just instead of searching for new social media stuff, go and read the fucking phone book. Like, honestly. Having said that though, and I famously hate social media, but I do get stuck in real holes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
To
my most recent one's car boots.
Do you know what though? I went through this phase and of sheep shearing videos.
Okay.
I
Different
don't know
strokes,
what
different
it is,
blokes.
but right, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
When there's this sheep that's like, it's got like loads of fur and shit, and then they just get the big machine like, it's and it comes off in like these big like layers, like they like peel it back off the.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
Sheep shearing videos. I also found out about Half Horse, Half Man. And have you heard that song yet?
No.
Right. Spotify. No, actually, okay. YouTube, because you need to see the video.
Right.
Half Horse, Half Man.
Okay.
And tell me that it's not stuck in your head for the next 2 weeks, because I won't believe you. It is stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
So there you go. Homework is Bedazzled, Half Man.
Horse, Half Man.
Half Horse, Half Man.
A couple of sheep shearing videos just to top off your evening. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, mate. There you go.
And on that bombshell, there's your outro. Knows what's going on. Thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Stu, thank you so much, man.
Until Bloodstock.
Until Bloodstock, bro. See you later, dude.
See you later. Trash Talkin